Hey, how you guys doing? Yeah, this is gonna be a short stream. I actually wanted to make a video, but I kept screwing it up, so I decided if I just do it live, it'd probably be better. Um, all right, so let me go ahead and check this real quick. I just need to check the chat to make sure it's working. Um, okay. Well, that is weird. Oh, there we go. Okay. I don't know why it was so hard for me to type that in, but hey, not all streams go to according to plan. Okay. Alright, so here we are. So last night I had a power outage right in the middle of building this, and it was like I was like, oh no. I was like, I just lost all my progress. Apparently this saves every couple of seconds, but to let you guys know some stuff I've noticed before we get into this elevator is I've noticed that this is performing very bad. I mean, like redstone in general. One thing I did notice is that the item in the top here, this item will get kicked out, and sometimes it'll just be sitting like right here, like that. Yeah, it'll just be sitting there. So I decided to put the glass here, and it has stopped those T flip flops from doing that. But I did also notice something too, and that is I'm not getting the same timings on the floor here. Now I might have missed something, but all of these repeaters on the red circuit are on 4 ticks of delay, and I had to make this one on 3 ticks um, for all of them, except this one. If I add one more tick to it, it's wrong. Now I don't know what's causing that. To me it looks exactly the same. I don't see any differences. I removed some repeaters. I added some delay to this. You know, I could try messing around with it, but no matter what, that floor is different speed than the rest of it. So since this is actually a what's the best way to call it? I guess it's a showcase stream where I'm going to show you guys all the features of this elevator. So for those of you that have been watching my stream, you guys are going to know that this is an instant call elevator, and it has about 5 features. So first feature is it has doors that open and close on each floor, and that you don't have to wire up every floor. Like you don't have to wire up the top floor, and you don't have to wire up the bottom floor. So that saves you a whole lot of wiring. Um, and then also it has instant extension on each floor, and it's also 6 wide. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So there's 6 spacings. It's pretty much as compact as I can get it. I might be able to, if they give us some different technology at some point, make it even more compact. Like if they were to give us a observer block that was a T flip-flop block, and it just took a block space, and you could get inputs from all 4 directions. That would be awesome if it just came on, or if maybe you could access it and you could turn it on to T flip-flop mode, single monostable, or falling edge. That would be super awesome. So anyway, let's go ahead and test this out. I am going to go ahead and say that this is not an elevator per se. This is a piston elevator. So you are going to get different experiences depending. Now, because of the timing differences that I've had to make, you have to stand relatively close to the door. You don't really get a lot of time, but it is pretty stable. Like I'm not always in the right place, and it does seem to work. So let's travel down to orange floor. there's plenty of time for the down, and I will say that you don't take fall damage. And also, one of the, I think it's the actual third feature, is that the elevator goes down, the pistons go down at the same exact speed, unlike my older elevators. Okay, so let's go back up to the purple floor. It's only 6 blocks up, so that's cool. And so from here we could just go up and down from any floor. From any floor you can go any direction you want to except for the ground. Obviously you can only go up from there. But yeah, let's go ahead and I really like the way the doors open. I've debated on whether I should make them see-through or not, because it does look a hell of a lot better. So to show you guys another feature, hey, what's up there, Cameron? So if you guys are looking at the elevator, look at the pistons, you'll see that they come down at the same speed. How did you learn redstone so good? You know, I just trial and error. Just trial and error. You know, this took me like, I don't know, 5 days to make it and to get it to how I want it to be. My original elevator took me 6 months, so that's really where I learned. And so to show you guys something, we're going to look at this compared to my old elevator. So, like I said, once again, keep an eye on the pistons when they come down. They're nice and level. They're nice and level. So I'm going to go ahead and save here, and we're going to go ahead and go to my older multiple floor elevator. This one doesn't work very well, but it is on the Xbox console speed. So we're going to go ahead and just hit it to go down. And then look at how bad the pistons are. Now I'm going to say that they are all like that unless they're cube hamsters. So it's one of those things where it's like this one has got a floor spacing of 10, which just, I mean, it makes it so that it's narrow because we can fit as much as we want to in here. But it ends up having a lot of issues because it's just too compact. There's a lot of circuits that don't even need to be in here. So I could completely redesign this elevator, but I'm going to say a 10 block spacing is kind of not what I'm looking for. What do comparators do? Comparators can detect, yeah, a comparator detects items, and they can also manipulate signal strength, and they can also, there's a lot that they can do, honestly. So this is version 6. This is my version 6 multiple floor elevator. This one does not have instant extension, which makes it super teeny, and it's very easy, and it's one of my more popular tutorial videos. The biggest problem that you run into with it is that it is limited in what it can do. So for instance, when you hit this button, you have to wait for the floor to come up to you, right? And then if we look at it when it goes down, you guys will see that it has that really, really slow and not in synchronous. It's not in synchronous at all. So let's compare it with the newer version, version 9. Yeah, there's stuff I don't understand about comparators all the way, honestly. Like I could show you right here, like when you activate this, it creates a clock. And so I guess the signal comes out of here, and then if you turn it off, it, you know, so it's almost like you could have a clock. And the thing is, the clock is so fast that it doesn't actually register. So it's kind of like, what exactly, you know, is this going to do? Seriously, it's one feature. So it itself only gives out a certain signal strength. So redstone is normally so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then on that 16th one it'll die. Now, this can measure, from what I remember, it can measure the signal strength. So if you add in a certain amount, you can see that you cut down it. So this is basically how it works. You can see that as you add more power from the side, you can decrease or increase. And then it works opposite, I think, from this point. Yeah, so there's measure mode. So like right here would cut it completely off. Right here gives you 1, 2, 3. So this would be handy if you were trying to power different lines. You'll see here, like as I add torches, you know, it will, whoops, it will increase. Well, it's supposed to decrease. They might have changed it a little bit. Yeah, there you go. This is going up by almost 2, as you can see. Yeah. But you guys, you could see, this could be used in a lot of different areas, but I'm going to say that it's massive when you use it. I have never really found a reason to use it, but I am going to go ahead and show you guys my first time ever finding a need or a use for it, and we're going to take a look at that. I hope that I've covered all of the features of this. So we went over the insta-call. We went over, well, I didn't show you insta-call all the way. So you go to any floor, it instantly comes up to you, so you don't have to wait. Cube Hamsters has this, and then you can go up or down from here. I'm going to choose to go down. There you go. So there is, because of the way Minecraft is in this update, I don't know if it's just not patched correctly or what, but I have taken fall damage coming down in this elevator, but only when I'm on that side. But recently I don't take any fall damage, so I don't know what's going on there. So so to revisit this floor could trip out. I just want to show you that it is on a different timing, but it acts like it's got the right timing, like the same timing as the floor above, and I don't actually understand that. So on this one, we're going to go ahead and travel up to the top floor. So that's the kind of stuff you could do. Now, its limitations. Limitations is that you need to reset this elevator every time you activate it. So, for instance, if you were to activate the orange and the magenta circuit, basically what this is going to do is if you try to travel up, it's going to give you problems. So the best thing to do is that if you actually decide to go down to a floor, make sure you go down to that floor. If you do not go down to that floor, you will be screwed. Seriously, you will be messed up. You guys can see that the separator, the separator for this floor is actually preventing me from actually calling the elevator up to me, as you guys can see. So if I was to deactivate these, you can see here it does work. So if the elevator is in the upper position, I put this in as a safety feature, but if you were to now use these and then somebody went down to the first floor and tried to use this, it would not work. It would just basically go crazy and go up and down and do all kinds of crazy stuff. But if you decide to and you take it down to the magenta floor and then you from there go down. Now if I wanted to make this one wider, we could technically, and I say technically, if I wanted to make this one wider, we could technically make it so that would not be an issue, but it requires running a lot of redstone. You know, that to me isn't necessary, and it would only be to reset the floors, which I'm going to go ahead and say that if you have a good memory, I mean, I don't really have a good memory. If you have a good memory, you just basically want to leave the elevator the way you found it. Now, there is another feature about this, and that is it does have instant retraction, but it's not really instant, and I'll show you guys what I mean. So if we were to come here and we see this, I want to show you guys that this has kind of like a protection mode. So if you hit this and you hit down, it comes down to you, right? But you can also hit up. Either one will work. But it's a safety feature because, yeah, if it wasn't there, then the elevator would basically just go down. So just to show you guys that again, if you hit, you know, because technically the elevator is down, so you'd want to call it up, right? Right? And then so you hit down to go down. So it works pretty much like a normal elevator. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I think I'll edit this video to make it a lot smaller using the algorithm. So these were some of the ideas I had for designs. You guys seen the picture? Let me actually show you guys. So the picture here, I kind of put up some, you know, these walls to kind of give you guys some clues to what you could do. Now, a lot of people are minimalist, especially when it comes to resources, and I think that this will upset them a lot, and that is the whites, this does not need to be here, and neither does this. But if you decide to put a floor in, and if you want to know which floors, and if people don't know what they're looking at, for instance, if it's covered, you do need to have these buttons so that people know what floor is what. For instance, if this was gone and you only had 2 buttons, you would have to have a sign on top of them that basically said, you know, orange floor only, and then, you know, magenta floor only. The problem with that is that a lot of people might try to stop on magenta while they're on magenta, which it's not actually hooked up to nothing because it doesn't need to be. Why would you need to go to the floor you're on? So there's a lot of that on here. But so another thing to kind of show you guys is that either have this elevator always up or always down. You do not want to leave this this elevator like this. So if I activate this floor and then I just leave it, and then I come here and I'm like, oh hey, the elevator's here, I'm gonna go ahead and call it down to me, right? And you're like, okay, well I want to go up to the top floor. Now it remembers, it's going to remember, you know, even when after you save the game, that you have that floor active. So heaven forbid that you try to call it from up above. If you try to call it from up above, you're basically going to get hurt. I'll show you. You'll be like, oh, okay, let's go on in here. Oof, right? And why is it like that? Because it still remembers that the floor is set, and it will not reset unless you do some stuff. For instance, like you need to hit the down button, and that down button should reset the floor, but not always. And so you can see here, amazingly, the redstone is actually performing the way that it's supposed to perform. Earlier when I was doing this, I was still getting a signal to my T flip-flop even when I hit the up button. Like, it should come up to you. You know, it should come up to you, but it's not going to deactivate the floor. So, if you guys want, if you guys really want a tutorial on this, you know, I don't do world downloads, and the reason why is I did a world download, and the first thing I seen was somebody trying to claim that the elevator was their elevator, and it was pretty messed up, honestly. They toured it and were like, oh, hey, look at my elevator, you know, and then they were sharing the download world from their own site, which really upset me, and so from then on I went, I'm not going to ever do a world download. But you guys are more than, you know, if you guys can build this and you can follow my tutorial, then you're more than welcome to share a download world. Seriously, if you can build it and it works, then that's good. So I wanted to show you guys some signal strength stuff. So recently I had this humongous circuit on here, and so I wanted to kind of show you guys how this works. So when you insta-call this elevator, something that can happen is if you don't have a pulse extender here, if You don't have a pulse extender. And basically what that means is that when this comes in, it basically has a short delay. But when this is active, it gives you a delay. Now, you don't need it when you're going up. So when I hit up, you'll see that this never gets activated. I want to show you guys that. So you can see that that circuit never gets activated. So it's kind of smart in a sense. So if we call it back down to us, what I have is I have a button right here that connects to that line, and it increases the redstone signal to activate that. And what it does is it prevents this piston from basically popping up and giving a horrible animation. So you can see here that that actually is used, and what it does is it keeps this from ever popping up. So it's just a good way of using, you know, signal strength. I haven't ever used it before, but it's a super smart way, and it was one of the reasons why I never really committed to putting doors. And I will say that I think on all my elevators from now on, I think I'm going to make the bottom floor and the top floor automatic. There is no reason to have to hit it. Having it by default is the best thing to do. So that's pretty much a tour of this. I wanted to go ahead and check. Wow, I totally had this on the whole time while we were looking at that. That was crappy. Yeah, that sucked. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you guys again, and I'll edit this stream. Sorry about that. I'm going to edit this stream. Okay, so my first time using signal strength is on this elevator, and I kind of want to go show you guys that. So what we're going to basically do here is I'm going to show you that when you actually extend the elevator, that the signal strength dies right here. So that's 15. So right here is the 16th block away from where it's receiving power. Now when you send it up, you want this to be instantaneous. So you do not want to delay it. So watch, when I send it up, it pops up and it lifts you up nice and even so you don't get stuck in the elevator. But what if you want to go down? When you want to go down, if it was to instantly pop up, if you guys could imagine if this circuit wasn't on here, what would happen is this piston would actually pop up for a second and then go back down. So let me show you that. So because I have the delay on it, you'll see the circuit work. And so what it does is it gives it, only when you're going down, it holds this piston. It holds the piston out longer so that the piston does not pop up, if that makes any sense to you. And it uses signal strength. So when this is added, it gives it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It gives it 12 signal strength. So it's just a really simple way of getting this. It's why I never committed to using doors on any of my other elevators. Now, as far as future compacting, there are some air spaces here. And I did want to mention that something I didn't put on this elevator was double time retraction. And it's basically just a simple circuit that could go in here, really no problem. It could just go right in here. But because I have all this extra redstone, it just would make it so complicated that it's unnecessary. You really don't have to wait that long when the elevator comes up to you. I mean, not really, right? Yeah, so you really don't have to wait that long. So let's see. So I left this floor active. So let me go ahead and send it up from the bottom here. So this is part of programmable memory. Once you hit a floor, it's not going to deactivate itself until you tell it to. Which is kind of beneficial, but can also be very frustrating because you cannot call the elevator up to you if this floor is active. Now, you might say, how could you deactivate it? I'm going to go ahead and show you. There are ways you can deactivate this. So, if the floor below you is active, one thing you could do is basically just go and jump in there really quick and then fall down. It's only 6 blocks. It's not going to kill you. Or, if you don't want to take any damage, because you're on like hardcore mode or something, which I don't see anybody that build this in hardcore, but that would definitely be a challenge. Anyway, so if you wanted to reset it, you could basically hit this circuit here, and then you should be able to hit the down button, and it should reset the floor, and it should bring the elevator up to you. You can see simply doing that is a way to reset it. Now, what if both floors have been activated? You guys can see that it'll go down to that floor. Now, it's not going to reset the floor. It's not going to reset it. As you guys can see, if I hit this down, all it's going to do is shut the elevator off or not even work at all, as you guys can see. So the easiest way to reset it is basically you need to basically hit that button again. So if you were to look down and see that the elevator's on the next floor down, which I think it's on the next floor down, yeah. So you would basically say, okay, that is magenta. So hit the magenta button and then send a signal down, and it should reset the elevator completely. Now this time it's not going to come up to you, and you can see that now the orange floor is reset. So we need to reset the orange floor. So you want to hit the orange floor, and you have to do this one at a time. Is this live? Yes, it is live. What's up? I just noticed that you said something. I accidentally had I had this on, so I was basically going to edit this video, well, this stream up, and then publish it, and kind of edit out all the stuff I don't want people to see. Like, for instance, I was talking about comparators and stuff. But yeah, there's no reason to make a shorter live stream. I'm just going to basically take the footage we have and make basically a showcase video showing all of the features of this particular design. So version 9. So some of the other things I might want to touch on, unless you guys have questions there, is it flakes? Is this actually something you could do in a tutorial? Like, I could do a tutorial on this. It also does not have to have instant extension, which would make it, this whole circuit right here, all this gray, whoops, all this yellow gray circuit, all of this except for that piston would be gone, and you wouldn't need it, right? We could also get rid of the pistons being synchronized on the way down by getting rid of this entire circuit and going back with the old one. But once you do that, it's basically version 3. It's the version 3 elevator. So very compact, the version 3. I think I could make it more compact, which would be the next one. So to put a shout out there, this all of my elevators and what got me doing elevators was actually CMB Minecraft. And so I wanted to go ahead and show you guys what got me into making elevators to begin with. And a lot of people were like, hey, how'd you get so good at elevators? And, you know, or at anything, actually. It's actually from building them, you know, from building them. We have all different versions that I've made. So we have 1 to 5 right here. And then this is actually Cube Hamster's old elevator that's been modified. It's not his newest one. And we have CMB Minecraft's elevator. This is the one that actually got me into doing elevators. And so I kind of modified it because, yeah, it needs a modification. But one of the things I really enjoy about his elevator is that it still works. I mean, obviously you can get stuck in it. It's possible. You know, I always forget that you can actually do I can do F3 and N. So if it goes up, you actually, if you hit up, it doesn't do anything. If you hit down, it'll come down to you from the top, which is actually pretty cool. But if you look at the way the pistons are and how they're not synchronized, that's exactly what all of my old elevators did. And it's really horrible. Now I will say that I'm thinking about making a new one with the new circuit on it, and make it version 6 up and down elevator. But this will work. We need to just make some adjustments to it. So right now, this is actually getting powered from here on a 4-tick delay, which it shouldn't. I don't know why, but for some reason when you start powering all this stuff, what ends up happening is that first piston that grabs you, which is actually right here. This actually does need to be on 4 delay. Let's go ahead and climb in here because I wanted to kind of show you guys. So this elevator right here, it actually needs to have 0 ticks on it to lift you up. You want it to pick you up real quick. So let's try it now, see if it works. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and hit up. I added on a hell of a lot of delay onto this. It also might be on the wrong time, but it does look okay. Yeah, so that did fix it. And of course, you hit down, and look at how uneven the pistons are. So what can cause that would actually be this here. This is pretty much the fastest you can do it, and then I would recommend just basically doing this if you want to slow it down. Now I will say that you run into some issues with this particular elevator. As you start slowing it down, you have to add ticks onto here and so on. But we'll go ahead and try it. So this was designed in 2010, and it still works. A lot of people don't know that, but it still works. It's just a master design. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that right now. So this is on a slower speed. You guys can see that it's much more stable. It's just not the fastest elevator, but it does work. It's not multiplayer friendly, and I think it's because of the way the circuit is. It uses pistons on the back of it, which makes it super small. I mean, this is a compact circuit for what it's doing. The problem is because the power is basically just traveling up, and it's always traveling up instead of having, I'll say, a torch system, for instance, like putting a torch on, putting a torch off. Because it doesn't travel, it gives it a weird... Yeah, it's like I could never get this to work on Xbox. So I wanted to see what it's like on its slowest speed. Let's put it on 4. So this would be the slowest speed, and I do know that this is Xbox 360 friendly, or Xbox One friendly, but only on this super slow speed, as you guys can see. Yeah, you can see that there's something strange about it. Seriously, there's something off about the way that it performs. Okay, so moving on to the next generation. This uses 2 of those circuits on each side. That way you can get 2 different timings on the on and off position, which is pretty sweet. But it does make it a relatively big circuit. And this is Cube Hamster's elevator that he made a multiple floor elevator out of it that was just the best, which is what made me know, hey, I could do it too. Now I added some features onto this, but just to show you, it's very similar. It's very similar, but it is a much faster elevator. It's a much faster elevator, and it has the insta-call feature. So if you travel down, I'll just show you. You travel down, and then you call it up to you. This is the first instant call elevator, and you can see that it instantly comes up, and then you jump into it and you ride it down. It's super cool because if you do it from the top, you just basically do this, and you guys can see that the pistons are synchronous. Let's check it out again. And this is what inspired my latest design. Yeah. I never really, I'm going to say until I took a break, I never really understood how this works. But I mean, not really. I mean, I understood how this works. I understand where the signals are going, but I didn't actually understand how he was getting the two different timings here. And now I have at least some comprehension, and that's why my new elevator actually has that. So let's go back to version 1 of my elevator. This one had the instant extension, instant retraction on the top of it, and would sometimes cause budding on that piston below. And it has an indicator light, which may or may not be necessary, honestly. But you guys can see that it's quite massive. And I was using a weird way of getting the retraction to happen faster. And I'll go ahead and show you guys that. It's an older design, and it was one of my favorites, honestly. It really was. It was one of my favorite designs. It should still work. Let's see. Yeah, that's gonna monostable onto that. Okay, so let's try it out. So based on what you guys have seen so far, so this one you get in the elevator, which gives you the chance to get centered properly, and then you hit up. You have to wait a second. Yeah. Now the reason why that happens, that huge pause, is because of the way I made the circuit. I actually wanted it to have that huge pause so that people would have plenty of time, and it would also not be as laggy. But what causes it is this blue circuit. So it has the down function, but you'll see that the pistons go down at 2 different speeds, which is not very pleasant to the eyes. And then instant extension, which has bugs in it. You guys seen that it did a little hop there. There you go. So, which brings me on to, I believe this is version 2, which is my first time using a hopper dropper, which this one was the most reliable. Yeah, and then I went back to a toggle system later. So, anyway, they all pretty much worked exactly the same, except for this time I think I use a system with the button, so you can see that there's something up with it. I'm going to go ahead and show you that back when I first made this elevator, you needed to have this on 4 ticks. Now, you don't want a repeater there at all. So things change, but just simply knowing that, it's whenever you get pushed out, it's usually the first piston always. So now that it picks you up, you can see that even version 2 worked pretty well. It's pretty massive if you guys take a look at it. It's really big. But it does have one button that does 2 things. So it can send it down at a nice safe speed, as you guys can see. And it can instantly extend with the same button. It's pretty smart, right? Nobody liked this elevator. I don't know why. I mean, in comparison to some of the other designs we've seen, I would say that you get a lot more functionality, and you can make this elevator super slow. Okay, so this is actually not version 4. This is actually this elevator, the same one, but with a monostable. So this is my version 3, and I did a tutorial on it for Xbox 360 and Xbox One. It still works, and it has double time retraction. And we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna leave this repeater because it is on 1 tick. It should work, but it'll be kind of glitchy. So, all right. So you hit the button. You guys can see that I have this at Xbox speed. Now at that speed, anything can go on. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this at the fastest speed. I kind of wanted to show you guys the durability of this, is that a lot of the elevator designs that were made by Cube Hamster and those guys, and I mean, they're amazing Redstone guys, and I mean, I don't even know, you may not even know who they are, but they're the ones that inspired me. And by actually having the ability to add specific okay. So this is on the fastest speed. So this isn't a tour, by the way, of all my elevators, but I mean, you can see right there that I basically thought to myself, two people could ride down at the same time, and one person wouldn't be standing right next to each other, but wouldn't they want to be? So this new circuit is going to give me the ability to make a new point A to point B elevator. I might just call it version 10. So anyway, so you hit the button. Whoa, something was wrong there. And I actually do know what was wrong with it. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what's wrong with it. So on this newer speed, like when it's on the slowest speed, you have to put these repeaters on a delay. Now that it's on the faster speed, they have to be on 2 ticks. And then there should be one underneath. Yeah, and it's actually already on 1 tick. So you got 2 ticks built into it with a third. Okay. So let's try it again. All right. I am going to edit all this out, by the way, and I'm going to make a shorter video. You guys can see that the way that it goes, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that, and it's got an odd speed to it in comparison to the newer elevator. So as we keep on traveling, I decided to make this version 4, and people were asking for a smaller, faster elevator. So this was my answer to that. This is basically a super fast, super small 1 tick elevator. So it basically takes 1 tick per block to lift you. Wait a minute. Yeah. Actually, that's not the 1 tick. This is just version 3 again. That's got some updates to it. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's version 3. Sorry. I think I was just riding that elevator. This is the one I was actually talking about. This one does not give you a whole lot of time to get centered. And you can see that if you're not centered right, it will throw you out, but it is super fast. So to try that again. So you guys can see that. Very fast. Now it only has up, and then it has a call feature, but because the elevator is so fast, you just have to wait a little bit for it to come up to you, as you can see. So there's no reason to have an instant extension on it when it's that fast. So, which brings me to version 5. Version 5 has a magic button installed on it. Yeah. And it has all the same features except for it has the comfort, I'll say the comfort of this, where you could basically, you can see that the ride on it is much better, and it has regular retraction, but you can see the uneven pistons, which I really don't like. This was one of my least popular designs, even though it's one of my best. You guys can see that I really compacted down the circuitry in comparison. I mean, take a look at this, and then take a look at this. It's just a whole lot smaller. So that's pretty much history right there. So version 3, which a lot of people claim doesn't work, it actually still works to this day. So this is actual version 3. And I made this one a long time ago. I could convert it over to the newer version, but anyway. So to kind of show you guys, one of the cool things about this is you can move around in the elevator because it's at a steady speed. You can see that we're going to travel up to the block height. Now, the version 9 multiple floor elevator, I have actually skipped a couple of elevators, so I've skipped 8. I've skipped number 8. So number 8 was actually a failed design that I probably shouldn't have ever have made. And it was basically an attempt to make a super fast elevator at 6 blocks, which is almost impossible. And we're going to take a look at version 7 here. Yeah, we're going to take a look at version 7. So anyway, I don't think we need to wait for this elevator. I'm going to go ahead and do something. And that is basically, just going to call this back, and I'm going to go ahead and remove, where's the repeater at? I think it's that one that connects them. Yeah, I don't think the signal, I think the signal stops, so we're okay. Whoop, wrong one. So something I realized recently, I realized that you no longer need 6 ticks of delay. This could be on 2 ticks now, which means you can come down a hell of a lot faster without taking fall damage. So let's go ahead and take a look at version 7, which does work. Version 7 elevator. It does work, but it is not multiplayer friendly for sure. And so we'll use the smaller one just to prove the concept. So like I said, I should probably just make the bottom floor automatic and the top floor, but on this one you actually have to hit that. And I'm going to say I'm probably going to change it here, just so it automatically gets activated by the door. So anyway, so you stand in a good spot, and then it takes you up real fast, right? And then you can go down just like all the other elevators, right? So it's pretty sweet. It will work up to about 7 floors. You can get it to work the entire distance. I'll show you that you can. It's just kind of difficult. So we've got all the colors of the wool basically. Well, not all of them, but you guys understand. So we're going to go ahead and hit this button. Even though I don't know if that floor is active or not, I'm not going to go up there. We're going to try and take this all the way up. A lot of people wanted a world download of this, but I was like, nah, I'm not going to do it. Yeah. So with the right settings, this is actually a pretty reliable, I'll say, single player elevator. So if you guys are looking for a tutorial, it's also super small, as you guys can see, super small. It does have issues though, and that is, if you want to call it up to you, you have to wait for that entire thing to come up to you. So we're talking quite a long time. Now I could add on an instant extension circuit. Actually, you know what? I do have an instant extension on this. Wow, I actually did not realize that I added that in there. I don't think that one has it. Anyway, let's check that out. I actually have never bothered to look at it. Wow, okay, well, learn something new every day. I'm actually curious because I know that you do not need these timings. I'm going to leave this one the way it is. So we're going to go mess with the 3 high one. I'm going to go ahead and send this down. Alright, so, you know, I'm going to go ahead and just turn off all this real quick. So, / game rule, and it is weather cycle, do weather cycle false. Okay, and then we want to go ahead and do the same to the day. So let's see, / game mode, Sorry about that, you guys. I actually had a phone call. Okay, so let me see here. We don't want to do game mode. We want to do game rule. Game rule. And we want to do a daylight circle. So that should be do daylight. Should be one of the first ones. There it is. And then we want that to be false. Nope. False. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. So the time should just always stay the same. So I don't have to worry about it raining anymore or any of that. Okay. So that's the stream. I will edit this video up so that I can basically show the features and stuff. And then I will catch you guys with the next project. I don't know exactly what else I want to work on. I was thinking about, honestly, I was thinking about working on something maybe you guys might want me to do. But anyway, thanks for watching, and you guys have a good one.